Good afternoon. As Natasha said, my name is Kaylee Fazer, and I am a social worker with Center for Elder Law and Justice. I am the social worker and court advocate with the Elder Justice Navigator Project, and I'm the coordinator of the Chautauqua County Enhanced Multidisciplinary Team, and I'm the facilitator for the county's Council on Elder Abuse. I was born and raised in Chautauqua County, and over the past several years, I've worked extensively with the older adult population in Western and Central New York. As a survivor myself, and a passionate advocate for women in my community, I am honored to speak here today in recognition of our county's efforts in the fight against domestic violence and sexual assault. In the United States, 1 in 2 women and 1 in 5 men will experience some form of sexual violence during their lifetime, making partner abuse a major public health concern. Domestic violence and sexual assault are violations of basic human rights, and they are experienced by people of all ages, races, religions, sexual orientation, and social classes. While these issues affect both men and women, 90 to 95% of intimate partner violence is directed towards women. By intimate partner violence, I'm referring to patterns of coercive tactics, which can include physical, psychological, sexual, financial, and emotional abuse that is perpetrated against an adult intimate partner with the goal of achieving power and control over the victim. It's important to keep in mind that the term intimate partner does not solely refer to a relationship that is sexual in nature. In fact, it can involve adult children, siblings, parents, close friends, or partners. Intimate partner violence is historically pervasive in our culture, as has recently been highlighted through the Me Too and Time's Up movements. Our news feeds are overflowing with the latest accounts of victims coming forward after decades of silence, with accusations of abuse involving prominent politicians, celebrities, and other men of power. But these crimes are committed every day by ordinary citizens with great frequency. The data tell us that sexual assault and domestic violence are highly underreported crimes. Why is that? Well, to begin, traditional gender roles and cultural norms have a significant impact on a victim's willingness to report domestic violence or sexual assault. Women who report crimes committed against them risk being belittled, threatened, harassed, blamed, and perhaps most insidiously, disbelieved. Additionally, the trauma inflicted by domestic violence and sexual assault has lasting psychological, social, and economic consequences, which make reporting sometimes near impossible. It's often assumed that seniors are not affected by domestic violence, but to the contrary, intimate partner violence and sexual assault don't just stop when a person reaches a certain age. In fact, people who are victims of intimate partner violence in their younger years are statistically more likely to be victims of elder abuse. It's important to note that abusers don't just engage in one form of abuse. What may start as physical abuse will often come to include emotional and financial abuse over time. For these reasons and many more, I want to take this opportunity to speak about elder abuse. As the baby boomers age and people are living longer, the number of older adults in the United States is growing. It is estimated that by 2050, the population of people aged 65 and older will almost double to 83.7 million older adults. Chautauqua County has a population of approximately 129,000 people, and adults who are 65 years old or older make up 18% of the population, surpassing the state average. As the population of older adults has increased by 2% in the past 4 years, the prevalence of elder abuse continues to grow. Recent reports have found that nationally, at least 10% of older adults experience abuse. A 2011 study in New York State found that approximately 260,000 older adults had experienced some form of abuse in the past year. Elder abuse is a multifaceted problem rooted in many different causes. In 90% of cases, the abuser is a family member or other close, trusted individual. It's important to keep in mind that as stress increases, the potential for abuse or neglect increases as well. Maladaptive behaviors in interpersonal relationships and caregiver stress often contribute to elder abuse. Financial burdens associated with multi-generational households and overcrowded living spaces can cause interpersonal tensions that can elicit abusive behaviors. As an older person's needs and requirements of care increase, The caregiver may not have received proper education and training, thus leading to feelings of frustration and anger that can precipitate abuse. It is important to keep in mind that caregiving can be extremely stressful, and caregivers with predisposed emotional, psychological, and chemical dependency problems are more at risk for abusing older adults. But in most cases, elder abuse emerges out of established, dysfunctional, and violent dynamics of power and control that have existed throughout the relationship. These dynamics may increase in severity as the elder becomes more vulnerable and dependent. Adult children in a family with a history of domestic violence may seek revenge by abusing their elderly parent when serving as a caregiver. Sometimes, however, it's another older adult who initiates the abuse, especially in cases when the older adult has a form of dementia. What exactly is elder abuse? Elder abuse is a significant threat to the health and overall well-being of older adults. Elder abuse often leads to a decline in functional abilities, which can contribute to dependency, social isolation, a sense of helplessness, and a cycle of increasing stress and psychological decline. Compared to individuals of the same age and medical and social circumstances, seniors who have experienced any kind of abuse are 3 times more likely to die within 3 years than older adults who have not experienced maltreatment. Elder abuse typically does not refer to an isolated event, but a sequence of actions or failures to act that cause harm to an older person. Elder abuse can take many forms, including financial, physical, sexual, emotional maltreatment, or neglect. Physical abuse of an older person is the non-accidental use of force that results in bodily injury, pain, or impairment. Injuries sustained by an older individual can have much more serious consequences than similar injuries imposed on a younger person. For instance, physical abuse can result in nursing home placement, permanent disability, or death. Sexual abuse is contact with a person without their consent, which can include forcing sexual contact, forcing sex with a third party, or inappropriate touching during routine care. Elder abuse also includes emotional abuse, the willful infliction of mental or emotional anguish by threat, humiliation, or intimidation. This kind of abuse can include speaking down to people, making threats, or isolating older adults. Another kind of abuse that we often fail to identify as such is neglect. Because a caregiver has a responsibility to fulfill caretaking obligations, failure to do so, whether purposeful or due to lack of education, is considered elder abuse. It's important to note that when physical, sexual, and emotional abuse and neglect are present, there is an increased likelihood that financial exploitation is also occurring. Financial exploitation is the most common form of elder abuse and often goes unrecognized. It is the unauthorized use of a person's funds or property by another person and can occur at the hands of both trusted individuals like caregivers, family, friends, or by strangers. For every 1 case of financial exploitation reported, it is estimated that as many as 44 cases go unidentified and unreported. 1 in 20 seniors indicate that over the past year, they have experienced some form of alleged financial exploitation. Nationally, financial exploitation accounts for 30% of all founded adult protective services reports. Financial exploitation can be financially devastating to older adults and cost seniors billions of dollars annually. Unlike younger individuals, seniors who have been financially exploited have less time and fewer opportunities to recoup lost assets and often become reliant on government safety net programs. It is estimated that as a direct result of financial exploitation, 10% of abuse victims will require enrollment in Medicaid. Elder financial exploitation is particularly disturbing because it can deny older adults of resources needed for the necessities of life. This is significant because as people age, it's not uncommon for them to require the assistance of professional caregivers. Those who have been exploited may be unable to afford the care they need in later life. Victims of financial exploitation suffer more than solely monetary losses. Older adults who have been financially exploited often experience loss of trust in others, loss of security, depression, and feelings of fear, shame, guilt, anger, self-doubt, remorse, and worthlessness. Further, transitions from home to institutionalized settings, such as assisted living facilities and nursing homes, are not uncommon for victims of elder financial abuse. The effects of elder abuse can be particularly devastating, and this can be aggravated by the fact that seniors are even less likely to report these crimes. The same barriers that exist to reporting with intimate partner violence are compounded for older adult victims. We've seen how the value sets and traditions among older generations affect the dynamics of abusive relationships. Historically, women who reported these crimes were routinely told by law enforcement that it was just a family issue. Women characterized their abuser as flying off the handle or having a short fuse. The seriousness of these abusive relationships were not validated. Victims of past generations can also have difficulty identifying abusive behaviors because of the cultural expectation to explain them away. This growth of the aging population, coupled with the growing occurrence of elder abuse, creates a need to evaluate and improve on the core systems that are currently in place to identify and prevent elder abuse and to assist older adults in their recovery. This is significant for our county. Over the past several years, Chautauqua County has seen a mass exodus of younger folks, which surely influences the preparation of a successful elder care workforce. With this in mind, how can we prepare for the coming silver tsunami and the expected increase in elder abuse? Evidence-based research calls for a coordinated community response. I am proud to say that Chautauqua County is leading the way in New York State regarding cross-systems collaboration to prevent, identify, and prosecute elder abuse cases. There are numerous initiatives in our county building on the strengths of our individual organizations focused on serving the needs of our older adult population. As was previously mentioned, I am the coordinator of Chautauqua County's Elder Abuse Enhanced Multidisciplinary Team, which was founded in June 2016 with support from Lifespan of Greater Rochester, as well as Commissioner of Social Services and Public Health Director Christine Schuyler and Deputy Commissioner Leanna Luca Conley. The EMDT is a collaboration of community stakeholders, including Center for Elder Law and Justice, Protective Services for Adults, Office for the Aging, the District Attorney's Office, the Salvation Army and New Center, various law enforcement entities, as well as representatives of financial institutions and a forensic accountant. We review complex cases of financial exploitation of older adults with the goal of increasing prosecution and restitution to victims. Governor Cuomo recently announced that by 2020, EMDTs are expected in each county statewide. With increased funding, we are excited to have recently joined the Western New York hub of EMDTs, which will allow Chautauqua County access to more specialized services and specialized providers. Yet another exciting collaboration is the Elder Justice Navigator Project. Chautauqua County was the only county nationwide to receive significant funding from Health and Human Services Administration for Community Living to create this innovative project. The Navigator Project is a partnership between Chautauqua County, Center for Elder Law and Justice, and the New York State Unified Court System. With this project, my coworker, attorney Nicole Parshall, and I have been able to educate nearly all of our county's judges and court staff, from Supreme Court to the town and village justice courts, on the importance of identifying and prosecuting elder abuse cases. Further, we will be outfitting courthouses with wheelchairs, document magnifiers, and hearing amplifiers to better accommodate our older litigants. Additionally, this project provides civil legal services, court advocacy, and transportation. We also link victims to appropriate services, including the EMDT. Additionally, earlier this year, we formed the Chautauqua County Council on Elder Abuse. This coalition, comprised of many local organizations and agencies serving the elderly, meets regularly to discuss issues facing our community's older adults. Experts in various disciplines discuss pertinent issues, while agencies educate the group on their unique programs and services. In an attempt to raise awareness about elder abuse, we partnered with organizations from all walks of life, including nursing homes, county offices, Girl Scout troops, elementary school students, and other community partners to create greeting cards that were delivered to Meals on Wheels recipients and hospice patients. We are always looking to strengthen this coalition's impact, and we urge your organization to join. But you don't have to be a part of these formal organizations and coalitions to prevent and bring an end to elder abuse. Individuals can make a difference too. Check on your elderly neighbors and relatives. If something doesn't seem right, report it. These systems depend on concerned community members doing their part. Call law enforcement, alert adult protection, reach out to Office for the Aging and Center for Elder Law and Justice. Our community is fortunate to have experienced professionals dedicated to protecting our older adults. But it's not possible to eradicate elder abuse without the commitment of the broader community and individuals like you all here today. I feel fortunate to have been asked to speak to a group so dedicated and energized in our efforts to end elder abuse, domestic violence, and sexual assault. Thank you for inviting me here today and for your ongoing commitment to this important cause. Thanks.